Well, folks, we are here live for the briefing that's going to be between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. The press is getting ready as we speak. So when I see the White House saying we will begin shortly, usually they're not too far off from this. This is not like a Joe Biden, Karine Jean-Pierre moment where we are waiting 30 minutes to an hour. They have brought in the press into the room. Everybody's kind of a little bit chaotic right now, but I have goosebumps over this. I hope that we are able to reach an agreement here between Ukraine and Russia. We very well might have a deal. Let's hope that is the case. We will see what's going on, but or there's nothing to be had here. But I mean, either way, a roughly 2-hour plus meeting between the two presidents is not always a bad thing. At least they had something to talk about. Like we mentioned, one of the metrics we wanted to look at was that initial meeting between Putin and Trump themselves. If that wasn't going to last long, then there was probably no deal. I mean, the second thing we were going to look at was the working lunch that was supposed to take place after the initial meeting between the two presidents. And that if that was canceled, then we know things weren't looking too good. So we'll see what takes place here. There was a post that came out from Zelensky saying, look, he's open to peace as well. But we'll have to see what really happens. But as you can see on your screen, we have Peter Alexander right here, who is a White House correspondent. You have CNN right next to him. They're talking to one another. That would be Caitlin Collins. That is not a fan favorite by any means. But we have the press official in the room. The reason why it's a big deal is because that means that this is going to be happening shortly. And as I mentioned, when the White House starts streaming live like this, saying we will begin shortly, that means they're kind of ready to go and just trying to get everybody in the room together. But we don't have any audio as of right now. Nobody's streaming audio. Let's just check in here real quick and see if we're able to pick something up. Yeah, see, they're not doing anything either, but we're on the lookout here. I wanted to get on just a little bit early. The moment I saw that the White House was streaming something, I said, you know what, now's the time. And also I've been monitoring this probably for the last, I would say, hour. This room specifically, the Pursuing Peace room with the two podiums, I've been monitoring that and it's been pretty empty. They've had the what I call stand-ins come in. And what a stand-in is basically just checking mics, making sure everything's square. Usually they're the height of whoever they're standing in for. But let's see what we have here in the chat. It's good to see all of you. Good to see you, Sea-Dog. And Sea-Dog, let me know if you're able to. I mean, not that you have to, but if you're able to figure out the subscription over at Rumble. Again, you just hit the subscribe button. It's in red text down at the bottom. And that should get you in the Rumble Premium if you would like. Don't feel like you have to, but it's there for you if you would like. We have a 2B1. Russia went right out the window. No idea what that means. The Ukrainian Damien gonna get something out of the deal. I wish this wouldn't have went a little bit different. Colin has a jawline like Marine. Yeah, she does have she has no upper lip either. I mean, look, she's not terrible. She's not like I don't think she's ugly by any means. Her personality makes her really unattractive, but it's tough because, I mean, what are you going to do when you have a resting, bee face? I mean, I'm kind of like that myself. I always look kind of angry and upset, but probably a different viewpoint with her if she was seemed a little bit nicer and not so cold hearted. But there's a lot of military personnel in the room, too, which is always quite interesting. But good to see all of you. Hopefully you're doing well. Good to see you, Karen. Nearbo. Come on, Brad. Set the tone. We're here, baby. I'm ready to go, man. I got goosebumps. I've been praying for this. I hope they reached an agreement. I'm trying to check the usually if there's an agreement or something big, there's usually like right before they go live, there'll be something. So here we go. This is from Jackie Heinrich of Fox News. This happened very fast. Press here for Trump-Putin joint presser. We're told to get in seats quickly and that it could begin as soon as 10 minutes from now. That was 3 minutes ago. This is earlier than expected. Both podiums are set up. So it's Jackie Heinrich of Fox News, who is currently there as we speak. She's Wonder Woman for us. So we'll go ahead and retweet that. That means, okay, well, look, I don't know how you read that. I got goosebumps everywhere. I'm dead. You guys, I can't tell you how bad I want this to work out, because not only are you going to save a ton of lives again, I'm just so tired of wars happening all the time. And one, I voted for Donald Trump, and it'd be great if, he could do that. So I'll leave the volume on just in case we're missing something. But I wonder if they're having issues with the sound. But these guys keep coming up. As you can see, they are of different height. And this is usually for the presidents. Putin is smaller than Trump. But it looks like, according to press themselves, we're going to be having something here shortly within, hopefully, the next 5 minutes. Normally, they don't even keep this on for that long. And they've been live for almost 10 minutes, the White House themselves. Here we go. We just got audio.
Yep.
Good day. Just double checking our last minute translation booths, making sure everyone is getting everything as needed. Again, you should be having English in your English only modes. The floor will get both everything at the same time. On your headsets, it should be 00 floor, 01 should be English, and 02 should be Russian on your headsets. So again, just doing a couple last minute checks, making sure everything is going through as it should. Thank you.
So again, we'll switch over to the White House one. We'll switch to the White House one in a moment. Again, this is Forbes. We don't really have the rights to it, but I at least want you guys to at least see what's going on in the room while we're waiting, and then we'll go ahead and switch over. Good to see all of you over on X. We got a lot of people watching over on X. We're also on Kick, Rumble, YouTube. If you're new here, while we're waiting, we have a morning podcast that we do each and every morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're one of the top morning shows on Rumble that is not a mega corporation like Fox or OAN or Lindell TV, those mega corporations. We are, well, you're looking at them. It's me. So that's a big deal for us here that we're one of the top morning shows on Rumble. We don't get highlighted all that much, but when we do, man, we really pack a punch. If you're here, let me know in the chat. It's good to see all of you actively there. I know this is kind of a last minute live stream, but I didn't know when they were going to start doing this. Again, I thought it would be probably around 4 or 5 my time. Right now it's 3:22, and big deal here. As I mentioned, you see Peter Alexander here. He's a White House correspondent, and it seems like everybody's settled down in their seats, which means things are going to be happening here very, very shortly. I believe, now it's hard to tell from the back of his head, this I can't remember his name. I believe he's part of the White House communications team, if I have that correctly. Now, I could be wrong, but there is a gentleman that does look like him that's kind of part of the White House themselves, Trump administration's communications team. Should be happening any moment now. Again, we are just waiting for President Trump and Vladimir Putin to take the stage, and then I will pretty much shut up. And if they say they got a peace deal, you're going to see my camera go off and my mic, because I'm going to run and making a TikTok really quick based on the breaking news. So we'll keep going while we're waiting. If you guys can hit that thumbs up button, it really does help. If you can hit that heart button over at X, Twitter, that also helps as well. It greatly helps a lot. It's all good, John. John, you don't have to tell me when you miss a live stream, brother. It's all good, dude. There's no offense taken, my friend. But it's always great to have you here nonetheless. But yeah, I appreciate you always joining. Thank you. All righty. Again, hit that thumbs up button if you can. It really does help. If you can repost or retweet our live, that's extremely helpful. But a lot of the world's eyes are looking at this. This is everybody from Russian television. Matter of fact, the Russians were really confused. Russian media was extremely confused because Vladimir Putin got into the beast, Donald Trump's presidential limo. And everybody was kind of really caught off guard on the Russian side, because allegedly what Russian media is saying is that Vladimir Putin was supposed to get into his own vehicle, which was on site. And a lot of people didn't realize that. They figured because Putin got into the beast with Donald Trump that, he must have not had a vehicle, that this was all planned out. Not according to the Russian media. Everybody was confused on the Russian side, and they said that was not supposed to be the plan, that Vladimir Putin was not supposed to be traveling with Donald Trump, and that was never supposed to take place. There was a lot of things that weren't supposed to happen that did happen. For example, the B-2 flyover with, I believe, the F-22s or F-30, was it 35s? I can't remember. B-2s flew over with our fighter jets right over Vladimir Putin. Matter of fact, while we're waiting, why don't we go ahead and show that clip really quick, because it was awesome. So here's that clip right here that took place. Look at this. American muscle, baby. I get you amped. Let's go, boys. I love it. I love it. So there's that taking place. And then this is what Putin would have saw while he's in the beast heading to the meeting. Look at that. Look at the American muscle. God, dude, doesn't that get you jacked, boys? Doesn't that get you amped? Just look at them lined up all perfectly, just clean and smooth. I think those are F-35s. And then you got the Apaches right after, just American muscle. Love it. Freaking love it. Yeah, you're looking at all that, bud. Right on the border there of Russia. I mean, it's Alaska, but, you know, it's not too far off. I mean, if Putin thinks he has this, nothing's comparable. Hate to tell you, bud. Nothing's comparable to the American muscle that we got. So anyways, that's what happened. And as I mentioned, everybody was a little bit confused over there in Russia. Like, what is he doing running around with Trump? And what the Democrats are doing right now and the left is they're well, one, a couple people on the left, which is crazy. It's on social media. People are reporting the guy. Social media, these Democrats are coming out saying, oh, we should have had snipers there to take out Putin. Putin should have been arrested. These people are idiots, man. I'm telling you that they're psychos. They are psychos. I'm not a fan of Putin. But if you're calling for the assassination of another president, like on the internet, it's pretty a wild thing to do. Whether you like the guy or not, it's a pretty wild thing to do. Now, if you want to call for the assassination of terrorists, I'm all for that. I mean, those people are pretty psycho themselves. But, well, that's here nor there. The point I'm trying to make is that they're going after Donald Trump for being friendly with Putin. Well, what is he supposed to do? Be a complete a-hole and just completely ruin the negotiations and lead to more millions of people passing away? Is that their idea? Freaking psychos, man. They are. I don't just throw that word around loosely. They are psychos over there on the Democrat side of the aisle. I didn't see Joe Biden do any of this. Where's the press reporting? Where was Joe in all this? Where was Joe calling Putin? Where was Joe setting up meetings? Where was Joe getting things done? Joe didn't do anything. Joe's on the beaches of Delaware right now, still kicking his feet in the sand and snoring and snoozing, not doing a damn thing. While Donald Trump's here trying to pick up all the pieces that the Democrats left behind and trying to resolve all these world affairs because he's the greatest president in modern history. Somewhere else, it was said if it didn't go well, they wouldn't get together speaking afterwards. Correct. And we said the same thing in my morning show. I said there's two things. Well, not only said it in the morning show, we said it in Dark MAGA podcast yesterday as well. I told my audience, hey, there's a couple things you want to look at. First, this initial meeting that, hey, if if anybody's ever been in a negotiation more face-to-face, like a high-level negotiation, really quickly where it's going to go within the first few minutes. That's why when Trump said, I'll know in the first 2 minutes how this is going to go, I actually believed him. Whether I would have liked him or not, obviously I'm a fan of Trump. I still would have believed the guy because of the negotiations he's been in real life. And it is true as somebody myself who's been in negotiations, not the person negotiating, but in the room. It is true. Now, the other side that I was saying is, well, if they don't have a working lunch or at least some sort of long-term negotiation process taking place, then things went south. This doesn't mean peace happened, by the way. Just because they had a long meeting does not mean anything happened. But the question is that what took place, what was said, if there was a peace agreement that was in place, was Zelensky somebody that made concessions with it? I don't have answers for you. That's why we're all waiting to see. And as I mentioned, all eyes are on this meeting between the two presidents. So I'm trying to get some more info from people in the room. This was supposed to start now. Again, Jackie Heinrich of Fox News said that they were all scrambling into the room last minute here, that they weren't expecting this type of pressure to happen this soon. And honestly, same thing for me. I was actually going to take a nap for about an hour and then live stream because I figured, okay, that's when they're probably going to be able to get to it. But, well, here we are. So that was 13 minutes ago. That message came out from Jackie Heinrich of Fox News, who's in the room right now. But, well, here we are 13 minutes later, so we're still waiting for the two presidents. We'll see what we have here as we wait, but it's good to see all of you. Again, it's good to see all of you. Some breaking. Trump and Putin will both be taking part in a joint press conference here shortly. This is great news. As Trump said, he'll be doing it alone if the meeting didn't go well. So I didn't read that part. So I guess that's news. That's from Nick Sorter over there on X. Nick Sorter says, again, this is great news. As Trump said, he'd be doing it alone if the meeting didn't go well. I don't know Trump's definition of going well, but I might get teary-eyed. No joke. If they say we got a peace agreement and that we're good as long as Zelensky agrees to it, I might shed a tear. Just the amount of people that would be saved. Arrest them and hand them over to Russia. No idea what you're talking about. Can't believe I get to live with you. So awesome. I don't know what that means, but it's good to see you in the chat. The same junk jet, the F-35, broke down in Chrome a month ago. It took them days to fix it. If they dismantled the jet and airlifted it to the UK. Yeah, the F-35 definitely has some problems. Yeah, you're right. I wouldn't call it a piece of junk. It's the most sophisticated piece of machinery that you've seen, other than maybe the new release of the stealth bomber that came out. Did they have lunch too? They said they're gonna have a working lunch, but I don't know. I've been trying to get information. I mean, it's really, I will say, usually you get some sprinkling of some news, like, oh, there is an agreement, and then boom, they'll come out. Usually that happens like a few minutes beforehand, and it gets blasted all over the internet. You guys, it's been so quiet. It's kind of creepy. Here we go. Election Wizard. President Putin will hold a joint press conference with President Trump shortly. We got that for you already. I'm trying to see if I can get some sort of behind the scenes stuff for you, but I got nothing as of right now. Normally I get something for you guys. I apologize, but we're still waiting for them. They got the lights on now, so that's always kind of good. It's not as dark. But again, thank you to everybody over at Twitter that's watching us. We got a ton of people over at Twitter watching us, as always. Greatly appreciate that you chose my outlet to do it with. Hit that like button or that heart button, repost, retweet. If you're over on Rumble, hit that thumbs up button. Please hit that thumbs up button, and then hit that thumbs up button over there on YouTube as well. It all supports the show and helps us get out to a bigger and broader audience who hasn't seen our content before. So I always appreciate you guys doing that. The audio that you're hearing is coming from the Associated, not the Associated Press, excuse me. This is Forbes that we're tuning into right here specifically. And then we're behind it, we're going to switch to the White House streaming. Now, the reason why I have this up is one, because, well, we don't need copyright. We won't get any copyright problems with it. But also, the second this switches, we know that they're coming on stage. And that, I guess, is more for you guys as well. The moment this turns on and we can see the room, you're talking seconds before they walk on that stage. And let's hope we get peace here, folks, because you would be saving millions and millions of lives. Estimation currently is about 1.4 million people have been deleted in this war so far. Yes, you heard that correctly. 1.4 million people allegedly have been deleted. I go, well, Brad, why are you using the word deleted? Well, because nowadays of censorship, because of the communist YouTube, Google basically censors you for everything. Not Rumble or X, but YouTube. So that's why we have to do that. We have to say different words now to get around what we're actually talking about. So appreciate all of you for joining us again. I'm trying to get you more news as we wait here. Should be happening any moment. Should have happened 5 minutes ago, but you know, hey, what are you going to do, right? So let me see if I can get something more for you guys while we're waiting here. Also, kind of crazy news. Hillary Clinton said that, let me make sure I'm getting this right. I don't want to screw this one up. Allegedly, Hillary Clinton would give praise to Donald Trump if he was able to negotiate peace here between Vladimir Putin and Zelensky. So, when Hillary Clinton starts coming out and says, hey, I think the guy's worth the Nobel Peace Prize and a lot more if he figures this all out, that would be huge. So again, forgive the background noise, but I keep it up here because usually sometimes you get little tidbits and you can actually hear, sometimes get people on hot mics, and we've caught stuff on hot mics before here. So that's why I always keep it on. You're hearing people hitting the mic and stuff, but meh. Hillary better warm her endorsement for the Trump Peace Prize. I love that. I'm really hoping, man. If you're ever new here to the Bald Brad Show, we've been asking our community to pray for this for quite a while now. So this would be a huge deal. Mind you, guys, I'm not Russian. I'm not Ukrainian. I'm an all-American boy. I love America. I'm America first. I just, my life, I'm 36. It's just, I keep seeing war and war and war. All of you, same thing. Just, let's figure it out. I'm tired of guys my age and younger having to go to war for dirt and soil. I'm just not a fan of it anymore. I want it to stop. Now, there's times where you have to go to war, but I'm a little tired of going to war for land. You got enough land over there in Russia. In the same way, we got enough land over here in the United States. So that's where I'm at with that. But it's pretty badass him sending the B-2s and the F-35s over Putin's head. I wonder if he knew about that, if Putin knew about those jets flying over. That'd gotta be kind of freaky, right? You're on a foreign soil and you got a pretty low flyover with a B-2 bomber and 4 freaking fighter jets, man. State of the art. I mean, you had to feel pretty safe, right? Trump was right next to him, but you never know. Some guy just letting loose. What war? No idea what you're talking about, Carlos. India with Russia. Well, I think India's buying energy from the Russians, which we're trying to stop. I mean, when you choke somebody out, you know, economically, at some point they're going to bend the knee. But really, Russians are some tough people, man. I work with Russians. I've met a lot of Russians. I played hockey with Russians. Tough people, tough men, tough women, tough group of people. Brad, patience is a virtue, brother. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, what's going on, Kenneth? Good to see you. It's good to see everybody in the chat. My Russian friends say first we drink, then we eat, then we go to bed. Drago. Yeah. Yep. There's a guy I ref with that's is that cliche type of Russian that you see in movies with the accent and everything like that.
Robert, over here. Mark, how do you Bluetooth?
I'm gonna see if I can hear Peter Alexander. 1 second.
Chapter 3? Yeah. They're very good.
See how you can pick people up on hot mics? Sometimes they won't release. Okay, so sometimes what happens with these, a lot of these people are communications people for the White House. Obviously, they have communications for Russia and stuff. I would imagine Trump's going to be on this side just from the height of the podium. But Peter Alexander's White House correspondent. So sometimes what happens is they'll actually have an announcement, but they're not allowed to say anything just yet. I'm hoping that we could pick something up here. I'm not hearing anything, though, but sometimes you get those hot mic moments. The media sucks. They better not yell and scream. They already did. I mean, there's that trending photo of Putin going around on X right now about him going, what the heck's going on with everybody screaming at me? Okay, so we're getting reports right now that Vladimir Putin's Russian delegation are now describing the meeting with Trump as excellent, saying it went very well. We might just be witnessing a landmark peace deal coming together. That was as of 1 minute ago, 52 seconds to be exact. Again, if you just missed that, allegedly, Vladimir Putin's Russian delegation has come out and said, in describing the meeting with Trump as excellent, that's a quote, excellent, saying it went, quote, very well, all caps. So we might be, man, look, if we can get this done, if we could get this done, it'd be great. It would be great. By the way, if we get it done, I just want to let you know there's gonna be cussing. There's gonna be a few fuck yeahs and you know, hell yeah. So we'll see. Well, I'm not. Look, there's nothing that's come out and said he's done it. So I will just be really impressed if he actually pulls it off. Like this. I'm trying to. I mean, you're talking. I mean, remember this goes into some Cold War shit right now, with where we're at with the Russians. So going back to then. I mean, remember, Donald Trump moved 2 nuclear submarines across to show force with the Russians. So, I mean, this would be one of the greatest peace deals in history. One of them. I'm not saying it's the greatest peace deal, but it's up there. That's for sure. I mean, we'll see. I hope so, man. I'm really hoping. I'm trying to put it out there in the world. You know what I mean? I'm trying to put out that out there in the world so it comes true. There's people that believe that. I'm not so much there, but I hope that that's the case. Let's see here. Drag is in the chat. Good to see you. Yes, I still have my accents. I was adopting into American family when I was 11, so I'm still heavily accented. Whoa. That's cool. Heck yeah. I'd love to hear what your voice sounds like, but it's good to see you, Drag. I don't know if you're still playing Battlefield 6 or not, but get in Discord. Yes, with the deep accent. Love it. I heard it firsthand, but Zelensky is a hot potato. Nothing done until... Correct. Now, remember, what Betts is saying here is right. Nothing's done until Zelensky also agrees. So here's the thing. Look, there's always multiple variables. I'm just going to give you a couple. Let's say they did cut a deal really quick. Trump comes up, Putin comes up, says, okay, this is what we got. This is the deal that's made. We're going to go to Zelensky and are going to propose this. And it's going to make Zelensky look really bad if he doesn't make that deal. It kind of puts him in a tough spot because it's like, hey, we can have peace now. Now you're the one that doesn't want peace. But it was also stated, and God, I wish I still had it up. Let me see. It was stated that Trump was not going to... I wish I had the article in front of me. I could see if I could find it. Trump did say allegedly today that concessions, land concessions, was not part of the agreement in terms of a peace deal. So I want to see, God, it was really fast. I want to see if I could find that for all of you really quick while we're waiting. Trump says final decision for land swaps rests on Kiev. I'm not here to negotiate for Ukraine. Interesting. Okay, so here's while we're waiting. Quote, I've got to let Ukraine make that this... Let me go back. When en route to Alaska for the summit, Trump told reporters on Air Force One today that he's not negotiating for Kiev, adding that Ukraine must make its own decision on swapping territory with Russia. I've got to let Ukraine make that decision, but I think they'll make a proper decision, Trump said. I'm not here to negotiate for Ukraine. I'm here to get them to the table. Look, Vladimir Putin wanted to take all of Ukraine. If I wasn't president, he would right now be taking all of Ukraine, but he's not going to do it. So that's where you're at on that one. So take that with whatever the heck that means. I'm not here to negotiate for Ukraine. I just don't... I'm trying to think like what you can offer Putin if you're not going to offer him land. Does that make sense? I mean, that's what he's there for, right? That's the one thing he wants, is he wants the land that he wants. And I just don't see it. And I never saw an option where Ukraine gets out of this without giving up territory. Just never seen it. Look, maybe I'm an idiot. Probably am. Not sure. God has this there. I love that comment. God has this. I hope so. It is a good sign that this meeting lasted as long as it did. Yes. And again, I just want to go ahead and reiterate for all of you. Let me make sure I get this correctly. I want to read this post once again. That speaking of the meeting that I just read, Vladimir Putin's Russian delegation are now describing the meeting with Trump as excellent. Again, that's a quote, excellent, saying it went, quote, very well in all caps. Now, take that for whatever you will, but that is what's being said as of right now. I'm still waiting, again, for, matter of fact, let me retweet that for you guys on X if you're over there. If you don't follow me on X, make sure you do so. We do try to keep you up to date on everything. Again, all eyes are on this presser. It was supposed to start a while ago. Again, the reports were rushing everybody into the room, as you see on your screen, and that was about 23 minutes ago. That's when everybody started coming in. So we've been kind of sitting here, which is very rare. I will say, I could probably count on one hand in the span of these now 6 going on 7 months here that the White House has kind of left us waiting something like this where it says we will begin shortly. But the caveat is, well, we're also dealing with another person named Putin, so it's kind of on his time frame as well. Who knows? Maybe they're eating. What's going on, Mike? It's good to see you. Mike's yelling my name, Brad. Absolutely, we are here. That is my name. Brad, your favorite person is standing for, yeah, Caitlin Collins right there. It's nice to see her smile. She needs to smile more. Look, she's not a bad-looking woman, but I don't like her personality, and I wish, honestly, she would gain more likability from me. Not that she's catering anything to me. More likability if she would just smile more and not seem so cold-hearted, like a cold-hearted bee. You know what I mean? Just smile more. Honestly, not be as biased, and you're good. You know what I mean? Like, she can actually... I don't know if she has a journalism degree, but I know it's somewhere deep inside her, man, that she could be a good journalist. But when you're working with CNN, you know, there's something weird, right? There's some weird cult stuff going on with CNN, man, where they're like, you got to say this, you can't say that. Jed says, that have been working together to bring down the NWO. Ugly had to happen this way. Appreciate the comment. I feel like it came out of the blue. No idea what you're talking about. Appreciate the comment nonetheless, though, Jed. Appreciate that. Thank you. Let's see if anybody's saying over on X. I want to make sure I don't miss anything over there. If you're on X, you can right in the chat. We are following you over there as well. Appreciate that. Russia don't have enough people for the land they have. LOL. That is true. I mean, quite frankly, neither do we. But okay, it's going to be happening soon. There's Steve Witkoff coming in the room. Now, Steve Witkoff was one of the 3 that was in the negotiation room, so everybody's filming that. Let me make that bigger for you. That's what she said. Yeah, I'm very immature at times. Welcome to the Bald Brad Show, by the way. Welcome to the Bald Brad channel. It's how we roll here, baby. It's different type of content. So that means this is happening very shortly if the Trump's team's coming out now. I think the other person, I could get this one wrong. I think the other, so there's 3, right? There's Trump, Steve Witkoff, and I believe Marco Rubio were, because it was a 3-on-3 meeting that happened. So the 3-on-3 meeting, I believe those were the 3, Trump, Marco Rubio, and then Steve Witkoff, which would make sense. Let me go ahead and see if there's any other posts taking place right now that I can go ahead and give you guys. Trying my best here to give you the most up-to-date, reliable information. I can pull something anywhere, but I want to make sure it's the people that I trust, and there's not many of them, let me tell you. So anything I read to you is usually pretty good. But I could appreciate if you give that thumbs up over on Rumble, YouTube, and the heart button, and repost on Twitter and X. It always helps support the show. It's just me over here, but it's also all of you guys. You guys are kind of the workers of the show as well, I guess. We're here as a community of patriots, those that just love America and just want nothing better for all Americans. So whether people want to believe that or not, well, that's what we're here for, and it's good to see all of you in the chat. Thank you for commenting and always joining us. Technology background, do you know me? Jed, where are you from? Do I know you from working days? Brad, you are the same age as my youngest son. You are fine. Thank you. Again, if you're just tuning in, Steve Witkoff has entered the room, which was somebody as a part of the peace team or the delegation, however you want to phrase it. He has just entered the room, so that means we should be starting very, very shortly. I feel like I've been saying that for 30 minutes now, but when the team starts raveling out. Now, that's the only person I've seen the press get video of, so I'm assuming Russian delegation has not come out yet. Kaylin Collins is just, she's too far away to hear, so... Again, like I said, I like to keep this on because we're able to sometimes pick up people on hot mics. And usually... Oh, okay, Steve, he's leaving again. Okay. So that got a lot of people's attention. Hold on a second. Yeah, here, let me swap screens for you guys real quick here. I'll keep the White House one on mine. Here, let me do this. We're gonna go to the White House once we're ready. Keep that up there. I need this. I want to see this, but I also want you guys to have that there because once the White House screen switches, we know that it's starting. I don't care about Forbes or PBS or Associated Press. Now, we can get flagged for copyright. That's generally why I didn't want it big on the screen, to be fair. But we do it for the people, baby. We do it for the people. So I just have this up so you guys have something to watch, is all it is. I don't want you looking at my big old mug the entire time. Jesus! So we're waiting. You know what's weird is I actually do not see the... I don't see the White House communications member here anymore sitting here. So that's kind of weird. So not only we've had Steve Witkoff leave and now that gentleman that was up front. So that's kind of odd. Let me go ahead and see if maybe there's something in regards to this taking place. It's a little different. Thank you to everybody for reposting my content. I appreciate that. Thank you. Let's see here if I can get anything for you guys. It's pretty wild, man, how much stuff is under wraps here. It almost makes me think there is no peace deal just because I have not heard anything. This is something people are really excited about. So while we're waiting, let's see what we have here. Like I mentioned, usually sometimes you'll get rumblings of, oh, we have a peace agreement coming up and they're going to announce it. We're not hearing that, which makes me think that maybe they were able to move forward. They didn't have an agreement, but maybe they were able to move forward.
I need back in there, sir.
Right, Trump would post that on Truth Social, I feel like, right? Knowing Trump, we made a deal. Okay, they're looking at somebody. They're filming. All right, so that's That's part of the Russian delegation, I believe. I forgot that gentleman's name. And then, let me get this off the screen. Okay, that's the chief of staff that just walked by, I believe. Okay, Besant, all right. CIA director. This White House communications. So they're all coming back. Pete Hegseth, Lutnick's coming in. Okay, so it's starting. Caroline Levitt. All right, we should be kicking off here right now, folks. It's coming. Yep. Everybody's taking their seats. So I believe that's Ratcliffe, right? John Ratcliffe, CIA director, if I have that correct. So this thing's pumping, folks. Here we go. Come on, baby. Give us something good. Oh, here we go. Switching screens. It's going to be starting. I might have screwed that up. 1 second. All right. And then let me go back to that real quick. I apologize. Just to give you guys something to watch. Here you go. All right. So there's Marco Rubio. And then you had Steve Witkoff just sit down. So everybody's in the room. This is starting within moments. Again, if you hit that like button, the thumbs up button, heart, everything helps support the show. Again, it's just me that runs this, so all your help and involvement is honestly really greatly appreciated. I mean, I can't send my stuff out there to everybody, but you guys can, so I appreciate you all doing that. So currently, it looks like both sides' delegations have sat down. We are just waiting on the two presidents to go ahead and take the podium. So here we go. We're waiting. Like I said, once the blue screen switches, we know we are cue for let's do this. Everybody's waiting in anticipation. I'm nervous. I don't even know why. I'm not even part of this whole thing. I'm nervous. Thank you all the moderators for being here and hanging out and to help me run this whole thing. Appreciate you. Shout out to the moderators.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States of America and the President of the Russian Federation.
Wow, here we go.
President of the United States of America and the President of the Russian Federation.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, our negotiations have been held in a constructive atmosphere of mutual respect. We have very thorough negotiations that were quite useful. I would like to thank once again my American counterpart for the proposal to travel out here to Alaska. It only makes sense that we've met here because our countries, though separated by the oceans, are close neighbors. So when we've met, when I came out of the plane and I've said, "Good afternoon, dear neighbor. Very good to see you. In good health and to see you alive. I think that is very neighborly. And I think that's some kind words that we can say to each other. We're separated by the Strait of Bering, though there are 2 islands only between the Russian island and the U.S. island. They're only 4 kilometers apart. We're close neighbors, and it's a fact. It's also important that Alaska has to do with our common heritage, common history between Russia and the U.S., and many positive events have to do with that territory. Still, there is tremendous cultural heritage back from the Russian America. For example,
Thank you,
Orthodox
Bets, for the
churches
$50.
and
Thank you,
a
Brad,
lot
for doing this.
of,
Thank you
more
for
than
always supporting the show,
700
Bets. Appreciate
geographical
you.
names of Russian origin.
Hopefully, you have a quick recovery
During
too.
the
Thank
Second World War, it was here in Alaska that was the origin of the legendary air bridge for the supply of military aircraft and other equipment under the Lend-Lease program. There was a dangerous and treacherous route over the vast emptiness of ice. However, the pilots of both countries did everything to bring closer the victory. They risked their lives and they gave it all for the common victory. I was just in the city of Magadan in Russia, and there is a memorial there dedicated to the Russian and the U.S. pilots. And there are 2 flags, the U.S. flag and the Russian flag. And I know that here as well there is such a memorial. There is a military burial place several kilometers away from here. The Soviet pilots that buried there who died during that dangerous mission. We're thankful to the citizens and the government of the U.S. for carefully taking care of their memory. I think that's very worthy and noble. We'll always remember other historical examples when our countries defeated common enemies together in the spirit of battle camaraderie and allyship that supported each other and facilitated each other. I'm sure that this heritage will help us rebuild and foster mutually beneficial and equal ties at this new stage, even during the hardest conditions. It is known that there have been no summits between Russia and the U.S. for 4 years, and that's a long time. This time was very hard for bilateral relations, and let's be frank, they have fallen to the lowest point since the Cold War. I think that's not benefiting our countries and the world as a whole. It is apparent that sooner or later we had to amend the situation to move on from the confrontation to dialogue. And in this case, a personal meeting between the heads of state has been long overdue. Naturally, under the condition of serious and painstaking work, and this work has been done in general. Me and President Trump have very good direct contact. We've spoken multiple times. We spoke frankly on the phone. And Special Envoy of the President, Mr. Witkoff, traveled out to Russia several times. Our advisors and heads of foreign ministries kept in touch all the time. And you know fully well that one of the central issues was the situation around Ukraine. We see the strive of the administration and President Trump personally to help facilitate the resolution of the Ukrainian conflict. And his strive to get to the crux of the matter, to understand this history, is precious. As I've said, the situation in Ukraine has to do with fundamental threats to our security. Moreover, we've always considered the Ukrainian nation, and I've said it multiple times, a brotherly nation, however strange it may sound in these conditions. We have the same roots, and everything that's happening is a tragedy for us and terrible wound. Therefore, the country is sincerely interested in putting an end to it. At the same time, we're convinced that in order to make the settlement lasting and long-term, we need to eliminate all the primary roots, the primary causes of that conflict. And we've said it multiple times, to consider all legitimate concerns of Russia and to reinstate a just balance of security in Europe and in the world on the whole. And I agree with President Trump, as he has said today, that naturally the security of Ukraine should be ensured as well. Naturally, we're prepared to work on that.
Interesting.
I would like to hope that the agreement that we've reached together will help us bring closer that goal and will pave the path towards peace in Ukraine. We expect that Kiev and European capitals will perceive that constructively and that they won't throw a wrench in the works. They will not make any attempts to do some backroom dealings, to conduct provocations to torpedo the nascent progress.
Interesting.
Incidentally, When the new administration came to power, bilateral trade started to grow. It's still very symbolic. Still, we have a growth of 20%. As I've said, we have a lot of dimensions for joint work. It is clear that the U.S. and Russian investment and business cooperation has tremendous potential. Russia and the U.S. can offer each other so much in trade, digital, high-tech, and in space exploration. We see that Arctic cooperation is also very possible, and our international context, for example, between the Far East of Russia and the West Coast of the U.S. Overall, it's very important for our countries to turn the page, to go back to cooperation. It is symbolic that not far away from here, at the border between Russia and the U.S., there was a so-called international date line. I think you can step over, literally, from yesterday into tomorrow. And I hope we'll succeed in that. In political sphere, I would like to thank President Trump for our joint work, for the well-wishing and trustworthy tone of our conversation. It's important that both sides are result-oriented, and we see that the President of the U.S. has a very clear idea of what he would like to achieve. He sincerely cares about prosperity of his nation. Still, he understands that Russia has its own national interests. I expect that today's agreements will be the starting point, not only for the solution
Thank you, Michelle,
of the
for the
Ukrainian
$10.
issue,
I'll make
but
sure I
also will
reread
help
your
us
guys'
bring back
chats at the end.
business-like and pragmatic
Thank you.
relations between
I'll
Russia
read both
and the
of your
US.
guys'. Thank you.
And in the end, I would like to add one more thing. I'd like to remind you that in 2022, during the last contact with the previous administration, I tried to convince my previous American colleague that the situation should not be brought to the point of no return when it would come to hostilities. And I said it quite directly back then that it's a big mistake. Today, when President Trump saying that
he's off script right now,
if he was the president back then, there will be no war. And I'm quite sure that it would indeed be so.
Whoa.
I can confirm that.
Whoa.
I think that overall, me and President Trump have built a very good business-like and trustworthy contact. And I have every reason to believe that moving down this path, we can come, and the sooner the better, to the end of the conflict in Ukraine. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. President. That was very profound. And I will say that I believe we had a very productive meeting. There were many, many points that we agreed on, most of them, I would say, a couple of big ones that we haven't quite gotten there, but we've made some headway. So there's no deal until there's a deal. I will call up NATO in a little while. I will call up the various people that I think are appropriate, and I'll, of course, call up President Zelensky and tell him about today's meeting. It's ultimately up to them. They're going to have to agree with what Marco and Steve and some of the great people from the Trump administration who've come here, Scott and John Radcliffe. Thank you very much. But we have some of our really great leaders. They've been doing a phenomenal job. We also have some tremendous Russian business representatives here, and I think everybody wants to deal with us. We've become the hottest country anywhere in the world in a very short period of time, and we look forward to that. We look forward to dealing. We're going to try and get this over with. We really made some great progress today. I've always had a fantastic relationship with President Putin, with Vladimir. We had many tough meetings, good meetings. We were interfered with by the Russia hoax. That made it a little bit tougher to deal with, but he understood it. I think he's probably seen things like that during the course of his career. He's seen it all, but we had to put up with the Russia hoax. He knew it was a hoax, and I knew it was a hoax, but what was done was very criminal. But it made it harder for us to deal as a country in terms of the business and all of the things that we'd like to have dealt with. But we'll have a good chance when this is over. So just to put it very quickly, I'm going to start making a few phone calls and tell them what happened. But we had an extremely productive meeting, and many points were agreed to. There are just a very few that are left. Some are not that significant. One is probably the most significant, but we have a very good chance of getting there. We didn't get there, but we have a very good chance of getting there. I would like to thank President Putin and his entire team, whose faces, who I know in many cases, other than that, whose faces I get to see all the time in the newspapers. You're almost as famous as the boss, but especially this one right over here. But we had some good meetings over the years, right? Good, productive meetings over the years, and we hope to have that in the future. But let's do the most productive one right now. We're going to stop really 5, 6, 7,000, thousands of people a week from being killed, and President Putin wants to see that as much as I do. So, again, Mr. President, I'd like to thank you very much, and we'll speak to you very soon and probably see you again very soon. Thank you very much, Vladimir.
Next time in Moscow.
Oh, that's an interesting one. I don't know. I'll get a little heat on that one, but I could see it possibly happening. Thank you very much, Vladimir. And thank you all. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Wow, it's an ordeal. Well, something's better than nothing, I suppose. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not Trump's call, right? So shorter than I thought it was going to be. But I think the big thing is the territory. I think it's land. I think that's one thing that he knows that Zelensky's not going to budge on. So Putin talking sweet. I mean, dude, the fact that guy came out and said this would have never happened is true. That's like, damn. Well, what do you guys think? Give me your thoughts in the chat. And while you're doing that, let me go ahead and read the two super chats that we have. Betts, who's a longtime supporter of the show, $50. Thank you. That's super generous. Thank you, Brad, for doing this. Well, no, thank you for just always being here and being a part of the community and always chiming in and, being productive in the conversations that you're having in the chat. And it's always great having you here, Betts. Thank you so much. And then Michelle, Brad, I've followed you for 4 years and I absolutely adore you. I'm old enough to be your mom, so no worries. Love you bunches and thank you. Thank you, Michelle. That's really, really nice of you for the $10 and thank you for that message. It's messages like that really mean a lot because I don't ever get to hear things like that. I mean, you guys say that in the chat, thank you and all that other stuff, but you know what I mean. It's nice to get that heartfelt message. So thank you for that. We have here the fact that President Trump and Putin are going to remain working together with or without Zelensky is huge. I'm sure they can't say any specifics until they speak to other leaders. Yes. I just think it has to do with land. Obviously, NATO was brought up. So that doesn't surprise me because NATO has been crossing that line multiple times with Putin. So we'll go ahead and see. And I think it's one of those, it might even be, again, one of those things that no matter what, NATO needs to come out and say that, or something in writing, maybe that Ukraine can never be a part of NATO is going to be my guess. We'll see. But we might get some more news over the weekend or maybe even tonight, Donald Trump calling them up. Hey, you guys, for all we know, Trump could literally on Air Force One on his way back to the United States, call up Zelensky and say, hey, Zelensky, you son of a bitch. What are you doing? Are you on the toilet? My God. We have a deal. You're giving up land. Sorry, sucker. You're done. And then by the time he lands, Oval Office, hey, we got a deal. We're signing it. Bada bing, bada boom. But here's the thing. I think that if they were really close to a deal, I don't think Putin would have said, hey, maybe next time we can meet in Moscow. One that's really, really far. That's not between the two nations. So it's weird. There's things that were said that makes me think that they're close. But then there's things like that I'm like, you know what? We're not close. We're not close. I could be wrong. Not what I wanted to hear, though. Very sad that, as we speak, there's men fighting and giving up their lives for dirt. It's messed up. It's really, really messed up. But with that being said, that was all we were going to talk about. That's all I wanted to say. I was hoping to get a peace deal. Let me see, though, really quickly. if I'm missing any sort of news that maybe was not included here. Trump said, again, we'll probably see you again very soon. Putin said next time in Moscow, as I mentioned. And Trump said, I'll get a little heat for that, but I could see it happening. Now, I don't, Trump would have kind of been super open to that. I just don't think he, I don't know if he would actually be willing to go to Moscow. But, you never know. Maybe he will. You can never. And that's kind of the great thing about Trump, right? We don't really know what the man is always thinking and doing, which is always actually a good thing for our enemies. But that's what it is. They had a very productive meeting. It seems like they agreed on a lot of stuff. And I think the big thing is land. I think that's the one thing that you can't give away, and the only one thing that Zelensky can. So as we read at the beginning of today's afternoon podcast here, live stream, whatever you want to call it, that Trump said, he's not here to negotiate for Ukraine. He's here to negotiate some certain points. And by the way, I mean, I set my hopes really high. I set my expectations too high. And as you can see, I'm really disappointed. Not in Trump. That's not who I'm disappointed in. When you set your expectations really high and they don't meet it, obviously you're going to be disappointed. That's my fault for having that thinking, because the real goal of this was just to be able to get face to face and see if Putin was serious and wanting to solve this whole thing, and just get the ball going of, let's try to at least meet. This is huge. There was no conversation with Putin for years. Joe Biden never called Vladimir Putin to try to negotiate a peace deal. So look where we're at now. Now, is it day one? No, but at least something's better than nothing. Brad is pretty solid on being right. Thanks, B1. I'm usually wrong, but we're also usually right. Did that contradict itself? Absolutely it did. Well, if you're over on X, make sure you follow me. Again, we do this each and every morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, where we break down a lot of different news. Follow me on X. If something big happens over the weekend, I'll make sure to stream it or go live with it. But I just want to thank all of you for being here. Doesn't mean we stop praying for peace. It doesn't mean we stop thinking the power of prayer is effective. I really do believe you got to let God work, but there's also other forces out there that are trying to fight against God's work. So one of those things, is taking place in front of us with this war happening. So have a great weekend yourselves. Get some rest, you guys, and be on the lookout for maybe spooky adventures or something over the weekend. And with that being said, we'll see you next time here on the Ball Brad Show. Take care, Patriots.